What's up guys, it's Ralph Misha and welcome to another Pokemon video. Today, as you can see, I have the Zacian V League Battle Deck. I've been waiting for this one to arrive for a while, so this one will probably go up almost as soon as I finish recording and editing it. But this is a really fantastic product. I ordered mine from Chaos Cards, but you can get them most places. It is a League Battle deck. We have seen these before, so I'm going to show you what it says on the back. It has a deck list. If I can bring the deck list into focus, that would be fantastic. So there's a deck list, but of course I will take all the cards out and show you them in the flesh. But let's crack this open and show you what we get inside. So here's everything that we get inside. Of course, with the newer League Battle decks, you actually get a few more bits than you used to. I think the last battle deck that I bought was the Keldeo versus Rayquaza one, which had 2 decks in. But the newer League Battle decks, these are essentially playable straight out of the box, and they're, well, like the old ones were, but these are more competitively playable. So the idea is that you could take this deck pre-constructed, throw some sleeves on it, take to a league challenge whenever we get those back, and you could do generally quite well with it. So we're going to start with the trading card game rules, and inside, I didn't know this, there is a little, I believe it's a playmat, but the trading card game rules are always good to have with you, especially if you're a new player, because if you forget which way to put your Pokemon when it's paralyzed or something, it will tell you in here. I generally remember sleep is left and paralyzed is right. It's the first letter that you come across in terms of left or right that inside the word. So sleep, L is the second letter of sleep, so you turn it left for sleep. Paralyzed, the third letter of paralyzed is R, so you turn it right for paralyzed. Confusion's upside down. And then obviously burn and poison are marked with the acrylic condition markers. These are slightly nicer than the previous ones. I'm not going to get them out just because I've got so many of these, but they're more rounded than the other ones. The other ones had quite a square sort of edge, but these don't. And of course you've got a GX marker as well, because obviously we get ADP in here. So there's our condition markers. Whilst we're talking about condition markers, we also get a set of dice. I really like these dice. They look a lot more red on the camera, but they're actually more like a pinky colour. And of course the coin flip dice is a translucent blue, which I really like, so I will be adding that into my dice bag, which is starting to overfill right now. A code card to redeem the entire deck online, which I will be keeping to redeem for myself because I need another Zacian, as I traded one away. The little piece of paper that was inside of the book isn't a playmat. It talks about the idea of the deck, how to play it, sort of what the aims of the deck is, and then on the back it has a little spiel about how to upgrade your deck. It talks about Luke Metal, which I don't think Luke Metal is an upgrade to the deck. I think it's a completely different deck. Dedenne and Crobat, very good staple cards, very easy and cheap to get hold of at the moment as well. Dedenne comes in the TCG Trainers Toolkit, so that's an easy way of getting them. Also, Dedenne, this artwork of Dedenne from the set has actually gone down in price because of the TCG Toolkit, so that's a nice cheap card to get hold of. Same as Crobat. I've managed to get a playset of Crobats for under £40, so I'm happy with that. It works out as about a tenner each. But there's some information there about how to upgrade your deck if you want to, so I will sort of leave it there for you to have a read. You should be able to read it, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit anyway about the deck and how my deck is different. We'll jump into PTCGO after this, and I will show you my deck compared to the League Battle deck that we get. So of course we get 2 Zacians, which are, I'm quite disappointed actually. They are incredibly badly looked after. Poorly centered, slightly bowed, a lot of whitening on the edges here. So this will probably be the one that I play. Because one of these was going to go into my collection binder, the same as the ADP. I have 3 Zacians I already play with, so I just needed one more. But Zacian, known for its Intrepid Sword ability, once you're in turn you can look at the top 3 cards of the deck, attach any number of metal energies you find there to this Pokemon. Keep the other cards and then it ends your turn. And Brave Blade for 3 metal does 230. But with the Arceus and Dialga and Palkia boost, it actually does 260. So Zacian knocks itself out anyway, but 260 with a couple of Zigzagoon pings and stuff is enough to knock out an Arceus, Dialga and Palkia. So we refer to this deck as ADPZ or Zacian ADP. ADP obviously because Arceus A, Dialga D and Palkia P. Main aim of the deck is to get the Altered Creation GX attack off as quickly as you can. It requires a metal and a water energy. Well, it actually requires only a metal, but if you have a water energy attached, it also has an additional effect. So for the rest of the game, if you have just a metal energy attached to it, all your Pokemon's attacks do an additional 30 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. And if you have an additional water energy attached, in addition to the boost that it gives, you also take an additional prize when you knock out your opponent's active Pokemon. So it means essentially within 4 turns you can win the game. And then of course Ultimate Ray. We do use Ultimate Ray for a Metal, Water and Colourless because with the boost it does 180, which is enough to knock out a Crobat. It's also enough to knock out a Dedenne as well. Which means you end up taking 3 prizes instead of 2, and you accelerate energies, 3 basic energies to your Pokemon in any way that you like. So I'm going to start laying this out as I would in a deck profile video. So we've got the Zacians and the ADP. Now we've got this cool deck box which has the rest of the cards in. I don't know if they're in an order or anything like that, so I'm going to take them out, put them into an order if they aren't already in one, and show you the rest of the deck. So I've now put them all in order of how I would do the deck list. What I will say before I show you the other 57 cards that they give you is that the 3 GX and V cards that they give you, the 2 Zacians and the 1 ADP, for me, in my personal opinion, that's about half of what you actually need for a Zacian ADP deck. Maybe it's worth buying 2 of these, so that you have 4 Zacian, 2 ADP, and that you're pretty much ready to go. This build is a kind of like the first draft build that I ever did of ADPZ to a point, because it has things like Berserker in it, which I had initially in my first draft of this deck. I even managed to get the pre-release promos to put in it. But we will have a look. So we've got 4 Jirachis, which I'm always happy to get Jirachis. I remember when this card was like £15 for a regular holo. Obviously these are the non-holo versions. These are the League Battle Deck versions. This Jirachi has this. This is the one with the Stellar Wish ability. It's not the one that the Amazing Rare, but it is one of the best Jirachis. So Stellar Wish, if you don't know what it does by now, you've been living under some kind of TCG rock. Stellar Wish, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. It puts Jirachi to sleep and pick any trainer card you find there and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. We used to have a skateboard with Jirachi back when this deck was originally released. So you would play Jirachis with a skateboard so that you could always retreat. A skateboard no longer in the format. So we do have other cards in here like Switch and Scoop Up Net in order to be able to get Jirachi out the way. So there are 4 Jirachis. which I will be putting next to the ADP. So we're looking at Pokemon here. We have 2 of the Primate Wisdom Oranguru. Now Oranguru is a Pokemon that I initially had in the deck, took it out, started to find its way back in. I'm not currently playing an Oranguru in my deck, but it is another way of digging a little bit further through the deck. So it has that Primate Wisdom ability. Once during your turn, you may switch a card from your hand to the top card of your deck. So it is a stackable ability as well, so you can do it with 2 Orangurus. You can do it twice in a turn. However, bear in mind, if you do Primate Wisdom once and then Primate Wisdom again, you already know the second time around what that top card is because you've put it there. So we have a 1/1 line of Meowth and Berserker. We will take a look at these individually. The Meowth is the Meowth from Rebel Clash. It has that Evolution Roar ability. You must discard 2 cards from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you can search your deck for a Galarian Berserker, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So it's a really, really good, easy, consistent way of finding your Berserker, which we will look at now. This is very strange to see for me because Berserker is normally a holo rare, the same as Oranguru. Berserker has that Steely Spirit ability. Your metal Pokemon attacks do 20 more damage before applying weakness and resistance to your active Pokemon. So really good way of boosting Zacian's output from the already boosted 260 up to 280. But again, this is a card that I personally don't play anymore in my deck, just because I've gone for like a super turbo version of the deck. There's a Galarian Zigzagoon, which is a card I recently removed from my deck. It helps you, if you don't get the Berserker out, Galarian Zigzagoon alongside other cards in the deck like Scoop Up Net helps you to place the damage counters where you need them in order to take a knockout. So as I said earlier, Headbutt Tantrum, once you play this card from your hand onto your bench, it allows you to put 1 damage counter or 10 damage onto a Pokemon however you like. So if you're in a mirror match and you place a Zigzagoon down, you put 1 damage counter onto the ADP, Scoop Up Net it, pick it up, put it back down again, put a 2nd damage counter onto the ADP, which takes it down to 260. Your Zacian with the boost hits 260, so you can knock out an ADP and take 4 prizes in a mirror match. So that's pretty cool. And our last Pokemon is a Mewtwo with the Mind Report ability. So this Mewtwo, Mind Report is the only reason that we play it. We don't play it to attack. You can attack with it if you want. There is an energy in here that allows you to do so. But Mind Report, when you play this from your hand onto the bench, you can put a supporter card from your discard pile on the top of your deck. So if you don't have a supporter card in your hand, but you have this, and you have bench space, you can put it down and put a supporter card like a Professor's Research or Marnie, Boss's Orders, etc. back onto the top of your deck and guarantee that you will get that card. The only thing that can disrupt that is a reset stamp. Even Marnie won't disrupt it. So Mind Report Mewtwo. So that's our Pokemon lineup. As you can see, there's quite a few Pokemon in here. In fact, let's do a quick count. 13 Pokemon. We do have a few ways of searching them out, but I will show you those in a minute. We're going to move on to the supporters now. We have 4 Professor's Research. Best draw supporter in the game. Discard your hand, draw 7. It does have a lot of synergy with this deck because the idea is you want to get metal energies into the discard in order to use metal sorcerers to put them onto your Zacians. So 4 of those. Fairly self-explanatory. I have a lot of copies of Professor's Research now, particularly these non-holo ones from League Battle decks and stuff like that. They always come non-holo in the pre-release kits as well. We also have 4 copies of Marnie. Marnie, fantastic disruption supporter. Each player shuffles their hand and puts it at the bottom of their deck, and then they your opponent draws 4 cards and you draw 5. The player who's playing the Marnie draws 5. So again, As I said, the Mine Report Mewtwo plays well into the Marnie because it means that even if they do Marnie you, you guarantee yourself the supporter that you want on top of your deck. So we have 4 of those. Another reason I got this deck was because it comes with 2 Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders, again, it's a card that we've seen in the format many times before. Well, not many times, but previous to Boss's Orders was Guzma, which was very similar but not the same. And then previous to Guzma was Lysander, which is exactly the same. And it's just switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So essentially you can pull up exactly what you want to and knock it out. So there's 2 of those. This is Boss's Orders Giovanni. And the name next to it does matter because we got Professor's Research, Professor Magnolia, and Giovanni for Boss's Orders. They're going to be apparently releasing some more copies of Boss's Orders and Professor's Research with different names on them. And in the same way that you can't play Lysander and Boss's Orders in the same deck, and the same way you can't play Professor Sycamore and Professor Juniper in the same deck, you would have to pick the Professor for Research and the Boss for Boss's Orders to play, and stick to that one. Our last 2 supporters are tag team supporters. We have Mallow and Lana, which allows you to switch your active Pokemon, and if you discard 2 cards you can heal 120 damage from it, which for ADP could be good. Zacian's usually going to get 1 shot, so I'm not a big fan of the tag team engine of this deck, so I don't play it. And then of course we have our final supporter is Guzma and Hala. So you can just search for a stadium card, or if you discard 2 cards you can search for a stadium card, a soul card, and a special energy. And there is 1 of each of those types of cards in the deck, which means you get your maximum value out of Guzma and Hala. So that's our supporters. Moving on to items, I just want to make sure that I have so items. The way we are searching out our Pokemon is for quick balls. That's the only search we have for this, so you're kind of relying on drawing into things, but it means you can find 4 Pokemon. Quick ball, discard a card and search your deck for a basic Pokemon, I believe it is. Yeah, a basic Pokemon, which all of your Pokemon are, apart from the Berserker, which you use the Meowth to search out anyway. So 4 quick balls there. Very good search card. We have 4 of the Switch. I online have a different artwork that I like to play. I like to play the old Heart Gold Soul Silver ones, and IRL I have my original Wizards of the Coast Switches that I play. These are the Switches from Sword and Shield base, so they're like the newest, in inverted commas, artwork of Switch. Switch does exactly what it says on the tin. Switch your active Pokemon, one of your bench Pokemon. Because Zacian's Brave Blade means it can't attack during the next turn, you use Switch to get it out of the active, and then you can use something like Scoop Up Net to pick up the Jirachi or Zigzagoon or Mewtwo or Angry, whatever you want to switch into that can be picked up with Scoop Up Net. Or you can manually retreat as well, so you can switch manually retreat. So for Switch, every Zacian ADP deck that I know, or ADPZ deck, runs 4 Switch. A lot of decks nowadays are running 4 Switch anyway, just because it's a really good card to have. Our last 4 of is Metal Saucer. Metal Saucer, very simple card, very similar to Aqua Patch and Dark Patch previously printed. Attach a Metal Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Metal Pokemon. So Metal Saucer works with Zacian, with Jirachi, and with Berserker, which is quite funny. Of course, most of the time you're going to be wanting to use these on Zacian to get them powered up, whilst you are using either ADP or your other Zacian that should already be powered up by your ADP to take some knockouts. The idea with 2 Boss's Orders and another card that's in here is that you should be able to take a knockout every turn after you've used your Alter Creation GX. We do also play, moving into 3 ofs now, 3 Energy Switch. In my ADPZ deck IRL, I have gold energy switches in mine. It's the only time I've ever styled out a card in my deck. 3 copies of this. It just allows you to, if you go second, it helps you to get the metal energy from the Zacian onto the ADPZ, because the ADP, because the idea is you start with the ADP in the active and a Zacian on the bench. You manage to, with Quick Ball and Professor's Research, manage to get metal energy into the discard, use a metal sorcerer to get it onto the Zacian, find the water energy that you need, and then energy switch the metal energy off of the Zacian onto the ADP, and then hopefully you get your Jex attack off turn 1 going second, which this build I don't think is really built for that. My build online definitely is, and I will show you why. As I said, after I've laid these out. Our last 3 for items before we get into the one-offs are scoop up nets, and I've said this before. Scoop up net allows you to pick up Jirachi, Oranguru, Berserker, Zigzagoon and Mewtwo, basically anything that is not a GX or a V, and brings it up to your hand. So it means that you don't have to use your switches on Jirachis. It also allows you to keep poking damage with Zigzagoon. From the initial laydown of the Zigzagoon plus the 3 scoop up nets allows you to put 4 damage counters down. It allows you to recycle your supporters with the Mewtwo, etc. So scoop up net, really invaluable card. Personally, if you're going to play scoop up net in this deck, I would have 4, not 3. But still, fantastic card. In general. Now we have 4 one-of items and then a one-of tool card. So our first one-of item is Energy Spinner. I still play a one-of Energy Spinner in my deck. Allows you to search your deck for basic energy and put it into your hand. And if you go second, you can search for 3 basic energies, which just really helps you to find that water energy most of the time. And of course, because you have, in this version anyway, you have Jirachi. Jirachi, it gives you a trainer out to search for an energy, which is really cool. So there's Energy Spinner. We have Tag Cool, allows you to search out your Guzma Hala, your Malolana, and your ADP. So anything that has Tag Team in its name. Really cool card there. Just helps you find your ADP early on if you don't want to use a Quick Ball. Great Catcher, which sort of replaces the 3rd Boss's Orders here. It's an item Boss's Orders, but only specifically for GX and EX Pokemon. EX Pokemon aren't relevant in the current standard format, so this only allows you to pull up GXs. Usually Dedenne. Dedenne, or if you manage to get the Zigzagoon pings and you've got the Zacian boosted, you can pull up your opponent's ADP and knock it out. But you have to discard 2 cards from your hand to do so. So again, it has that discard synergy. You can discard 2 metal energies and then metal source them back on. And our final one-of, which is a card that I disagree with having in this deck, is Ordinary Rod. Again, I used to have it in mine. I don't have it in mine anymore because theoretically you can win the game in 4 turns. And if you lose both your Zacians, you'll probably already have lost the game. So I don't see the need for an Ordinary Rod, but this is definitely a card that is an interchangeable card. But Ordinary Rod allows you to put up to 2 Pokemon and 2 basic energies from your discard pile back into your deck and shuffle your deck. So those are our one-of items. Our one-of tool card is a tool card that I've mucked around with a few times and settled on a different one. It is Big Charm. Big Charm just gives the Pokemon that it's attached to an additional 30 HP, so it puts ADP up to 310 and it puts Zacian up to 250. I feel like it's sort of irrelevant on Zacian 250, particularly in a mirror match or any fight, if you're up against a fire deck or whatever. 250 still gets one shot by a boosted Zacian, so it's sort of irrelevant. The 310 on the ADP is relevant. It's really annoying to hit. But I play a different tool card in my version. You'll see I play Cape of Toughness, which is slightly less versatile. It's designed specifically for the Zacians in my deck. But it gives you more HP and actually makes the Zacians non-KOable by another Zacian. So that's our one-of tool card that I'm just throwing. But I'm always happy to get an extra big charm. Our stadium that they've given us to search out with Guzma and Hala is Viridian Forest. I play Viridian Forest in my deck still. Again, we will see all this when we jump over into PTCGO. But there's an argument to play Chaotic Swell, but I like Viridian Forest because it allows you to discard a card from your hand and search your deck for an energy. So theoretically, if you've got Zacian on the bench, you've got ADP in the active, turn 1, and you manage to find your Viridian Forest and you've got metal energy in hand, use Viridian, discard your metal, get that into the discard, search out your water, attach your water to ADP, and then hopefully find Metal Source or Energy Switch to get your GX attack off. So that's our one-of stadium. I prefer more than one copy. But energy-wise here, we have one special energy. That is the Aurora energy. Again, it has some discard synergy, so when you attach it to your Pokemon, you can attach it to any Pokemon that you want, discard a card from your hand and it provides any type of energy whilst it's attached to that Pokemon, so it's essentially the same as a rainbow energy. So we have one Aurora. We have two water energies. For me, it's not enough, but particularly if you prize one, it means you literally only have one left in your deck to try and pull off that GX attack. But two water energies for your ADP. And then I believe it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 8 metal energies that help you with your Zacians and your ADPs. So we're going to lay the energies out. You can have a look at the there we go. So this is the ideal moment for you to screenshot if you do want to see the deck list. I know you can't really see the energy spinners there, but you know. So this is the list that the battle deck gives you. We're going to jump over into PTCGO and have a look at my list and talk about the reasons why I play certain cards over others. And then to end the video, I have a check lane blister of Vivid Voltage to crack. So let's jump over into PTCGO and show you my list. So this is the current list that I'm rocking for ADPZ. You'll see quite a few differences with Pokemon. There are no Jirachis, no Oranguru, no Zigzagoon, no Mewtwo, and no Meowth and Berserker in here. That's a good chunk of the Pokemon. That's 4, 6, 8, 10 Pokemon different. And that's because instead of 2 Zacians, we run 3. Instead of 1 ADP, we run 2. Just to ensure that, you know, if one of them does get prized, and I have had it a couple of times when both ADP are prized, which is a pain, then, you know, you give yourself the most possible outs to get it. It did also, on the sheet, talk about adding in the Denes. I run 2 Dedenes because Dede Change is just a fantastic way of discarding your hand and drawing 6 without using a supporter. So it allows you to discard your hand, draw a fresh hand of 6, and find the boss's order that you usually want to close the game out. So we have 2 of those and 1 Crobat. Crobat, very similar, but you drop it and you draw up to 6. You do not discard your hand. So again, if you already have an energy switch in hand and you're looking for the Metal Saucer and you don't want to discard it, or vice versa, quick balling for a Crobat is probably the better way to go. And then I have some tech Pokemon in here. Instead of the Jirachi and stuff like that, I have a few different tech Pokemon. So we're going to start with the other doggo. We have Zamazenta V in here. Zamazenta V is for fighting against VMAX Pokemon, specifically Eternatus. Because with the boost it does 160 damage, doubled is 320. It's not quite enough to knock out an Eternatus in 2 hits, but if you hit it with Zamazenta V, it can't hit you back. So my game plan usually against something like Eternatus is to try and get the ADP boost off as quickly as possible and only have Zamazenta on the bench. So yes, they can take 3 prizes on your ADP, but then they can't hit anything else unless they use a non VMAX Pokemon, in which case for most Eternatus decks it's either Spiritomb or Hoopa, I think. So also really good against Centiskorch VMAX as well. Although Centiskorch hits you for weakness, Centiskorch VMAX doesn't because it can't hit you. So, and Assault Tackle, like I said, it does that 160 for 2 metal and a colourless, so it's another way of using up your water energy. And it discards a special energy as well, so against Centiskorch, if they're running that heat fire energy, you discard that heat fire energy as well. So that's why Zamazenta V is in there. We have Inteleon V in here. There's been debate about whether Inteleon's better than Milotic. I prefer Inteleon because it has a 3 energy cost attack, which is the one that you're going to be using. Again, it does a base of 130, the same as Zamazenta, but with that boost it does a base of 160. Doubled is 320 for weakness, which means you are usually knocking out what you want to KO for weakness. So Zamazenta and Inteleon, really your sort of Centiskorch VMAX counters. Aqua Report also allows you to look at your opponent's hand, which is a nice sort of little bonus. It is for 2 water and a colourless, which is why you'll see my water energy count is ever so slightly different. And Snipe Shot's kind of a nice one as well, because with the boost it will allow you to hit 70 damage to the active Pokemon. So if they have like a Zigzagoon in the active, then you can knock out the Zigzagoon with Snipe Shot for a single energy. So that's why I have Inteleon in here. It does only have 200 HP, which is a bit of a problem, but it's still a fantastic tech card. And my last tech card is Aegislash V. This has replaced Duraludon. Aegislash having that Sonic Edge. Again, all my tech Pokemon have, for 2 of their coloured energy and a colourless, 130, which I've just noticed. The damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so basically this will hit through Obstagoon's Obstruct, and it will hit through the ability on Decidueye and Altaria, which means that V's can't hit it. So it gives you a way of, if you do come up against those decks, it gives you an out to knock those Pokemon out. So Aegislash is the only addition I've made from Vivid Voltage as well, I will add. So moving on to the supporters, I know it shows it differently on here, but we do still have 4 Professor's Research, the same as the battle deck. We run 2 Marnie. I have the nice full art Marnie on here as well. So we're running half the Marnie, but that's mainly because we kind of substituted out the other 2 Marnies for like the 2 Dedennes. So it looks a little bit on the short end. It probably could do with another Marnie, but I quite like having just 2 Marnie. I think that's enough most of the time. And then the only other supporter we run is Boss's Orders. We do run 3. I have different artworks here. Of course, when I redeem the code on here, I will finally have 4 of the non-holo Boss's Orders to play. So we run 3 of them instead of 2 and a Great Catcher, just because Great Catcher is, in matches like against Eternatus, for example, is very much a dead card, whereas Boss's Orders is always an active card. So we run 3 Boss's Orders, and 3 Boss's Orders essentially allows you to close out the game, whether that be on 3 what would normally be 1 prizers, or 2 what would normally be 2 prizers. Obviously, of course, with the ADP boost, a 1 prizer goes up to a 2 prizer, a 2 prizer goes up to a 3 prizer, and a 3 prizer goes up to a 4 prizer. It also allows you that if you hit into a VMAX like Eternatus or Centiskorch and you don't knock it out and they retreat to the bench, it allows you to re-pull it back up and take those 4 prizes. So 3 boss's orders. Moving into the items, the things that we have the same, which is quite a lot actually. We have still 4 quick ball, we still have 4 metal saucer, we have 4 switch, we still have the 1 energy spinner and the 3 energy switch. So a lot of the items, very similar accounts here. The things we don't have, which I have switched out, we don't have the scoop up nets, and we don't have the great catcher, tag, cool and ordinary rod. Instead we have 4 turbo patch, which similar to the metal saucer, it allows you to attach a basic energy card from your discard pile, but only to a basic Pokemon, and it has to be to a non-GX, and it's on a coin flip. So I love coin flip cards. Wizard of the Coast format is my format for that. And as soon as this card came out, I knew I wanted 4 copies of it in this deck, so I made space for it. You don't have to play Turbo Patch, but as I said, my version is kind of the turbo out version of the deck. So the 4 Turbo Patch and the 4 Metal Saucer kind of enable you to be able to get energy into the discard really quickly and pull it back out again. It also means that if your water energy hits the discard, you can get it back onto something like a Zamazenta or a Zacian or Crobat or anything apart from the Dene and ADP, and then you can energy switch it off. So that's really handy. So 4 of those, one of my favourite cards printed in Darkness Ablaze. 2 Cherishables. Cherishable allows you to search out your GX Pokemon. So 2 Cherishables allows you to search out your Dedenes or your ADPs. Fantastic search card, really. It just helps boost your searching ability, because you don't really want to use your quick balls on stuff like ADP and Dedenne if you can avoid it. So 2 Cherish Balls to round out the searching items. And before we move into tools, we have Tool Scrapper in here. I think Tool Scrapper is absolutely essential. Particularly if you come up in a mirror match and they put a big charm on your ADP, you just want to sit there and go, well, we'll just knock that off. Or, as I've noticed more people are playing, I'm playing, one of the tools I'm playing means that your Zacian V can't knock out an opposing Zacian V because it has 10 HP too much. So again, having a Tool Scrapper allowing you to discard 2 Pokemon tools, including your own, is a really nice card to have. I'm playing the old one from the black and white era days. I really love this artwork. I have 4 of this artwork IRL as well. Moving into tools, 2 air balloons. No big charm, 2 air balloons. The air balloons are so that you have a free retreater essentially, with the exception of Aegislash and Arceus Palkia that have 3 retreat. Everything else has 2 or less. So this, by attaching an air balloon, you give them essentially free retreat, and it allows you to use switch into something that has an air balloon on it. So you can switch from a Zacian into something that has an air balloon on it, like a Crobat or a Dedenne, and then retreat back into that Zacian and attack again with that Zacian V. So there's 2 air balloons in here for that reason. And 2 Cape of Toughness. This I picked over Big Charm. I went back and forth between Big Charm and Cape of Toughness. I found this, having the survivability of your Zacians more important than your ADP. So if your ADP goes down, it's not a big deal, but your Zacians you want to keep alive, as well as your Zamazenta. Like in the Eternatus match, Zamazenta having 280 HP puts it out of knockout range from an Eternatus VMAX that has a full bench of 8. They have to Zigzagoon ping it at least once in order to be able to knock it out, and they still have to have that full bench of 8, which is really cool, just to put it out of that reach, because Zamazenta has 230 HP, plus 50 is 280. Zacian has 220 HP, plus 50 makes it 270, which, as I said, puts it out of range of a knockout from its own boosted counterpart. So I prefer Keep of Toughness. I really love this card. I'd quite like to get a couple of gold versions actually of it to play IRL. So that's our tools. Stadiums, we stuck with Viridian Forest. We have 2 Viridian Forest instead of 1 though, just because I think that is just a slightly better count really, instead of having the Aurora energy essentially. So 2 Viridian, really helpful. Again, discard synergy as well. And then energy count, we still have 8 metal energy. We kept that the same, even though it says 20 down here, there is actually 8. And we boosted our water energy count up by 1. So essentially we switched that Aurora energy out and put another water energy in. And that's because, as I said, prizing can be an issue with the energies. Ultimate Ray is a water, metal and colourless, so it allows you to put the additional water on there, so you're not using your metal energies when you want to be using them on Zacians. And it also enables you to use Inteleon's attack as well, because it's a dual water and a colourless. So by using one water on ADP to use the GX attack, if you don't have any waters prized, it allows you to have 2 waters available to still use that Aqua Report. But that is it for the looks at the decks. We're going to jump back over very quickly to the other screen here with the deck still laid out. So again, if you want to screenshot either of the decks, you can. My deck that you saw in PTCGO is more of a turboed out list. This is the list straight from the League Battle deck. But just to round out this video, because I do love doing openings, we're going to crack open this Vivid Voltage Check Lane blister here. And I am going to give away a code card as well. So we're going to give away an Evolutions code card. Enjoy your Evolutions pack. Let me know if you pull anything good out of it. But let's have a look. I don't really know the best place to put this. At the stuff that we get from the check lane blister. So we get a nice Empoleon coin. It's one for me to add to my coin board. I'm pretty sure I don't have this one. This is the classic plastic Pokemon coin. Just going to sort of dot them around. The promo card, which is a Grookey. I picked the Grookey one because it was cheaper than the Sobble, the Score Bunny one. Sword and Shield number 70 is the promo number for this, and it is a nice holo. I do like the artwork on it, I must say. And of course the code card to redeem the promo online, which I might keep. Well, we're going to put Grookey here. And then the single pack of Vivid Voltage. Let's see if we can get anything out of this. It would be nice if we could. I'm just going to try and not spoil the code card for myself. One. Oh, wow. Oh, before we just... You see that whitening on the top there? I believe that's an uncommon. That's the energy. Like that. We have a metal energy. I'm going to have to put these off the side here. A Weedle. Beldum. Phanpy. Duskull. Electrike. Delmise. Rocky Helmet, which I'm really happy to get. It's a decent card. Alistair. The reverse is an electric, which means there's no amazing rare. And the rare is a Manectric non-holo rare. So that is it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, please be sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're new around here. Feel free to share this video with your friends if you think you know somebody who may also enjoy watching a video like this. Let me know in the comment section down below if you will buy this deck and what changes you would make to it, if you would make any changes at all. And check out the playlists in the description. I will leave a playlist to Vivid Voltage, Champion's Path, Chase the Charizard series, And probably I will link in the description my ADPZ, my old profile of ADPZ, and some gameplay with that as well. So go ahead and check all that out. I would be very much appreciated if you did. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace.